Hello and welcome back to my channel. Hello, welcome. If you're new here, hello, my name is Lanice. I am a nurse and I do these cool little nursing videos. If you are not new here, thank you for tuning in to another one of my videos. You already know what I'm gonna say. Thank you for tuning in to another one of my videos. You guys could be anywhere in the world, but you are here with me and that is greatly appreciated, okay? So, excuse me, I was just eating a piece of chocolate, so my mouth is a little bit watery right now. Let me get that together. Okay, so today I wanted to kind of keep the momentum going on this whole situationship, high value relationship type of topics that I have already done this week. And my last video that I talked about, then in my last video, I talked about situationships, why they don't work for me. I also talked about how I wanted to show up in my next relationships and how I'm just working on myself as a woman to make sure that I am ready and preparing myself for the type of relationship that I would like to be in. While writing that and just also doing more reflection throughout the week, watching more videos. And y'all excuse me, because in my last video, I realized that I do a lot of breathing, and I believe that I breathe heavily because I completely empty my diaphragm whenever I talk. I tend to talk fast. I am working on talking slower because at work I have kind of gotten complaints about how fast I talk sometimes. But I can't help it. It's how I breathe. Maybe I'm the only person that noticed it. I don't know. What does my dog have? What do you have? Tape? No, plastic. Okay. So with that already, with that being said, I will apologize because I do have the sniffles a little bit and I already tend to take pretty deep breaths whenever I talk, and I notice that this microphone picks up on that a lot. So anyways, today I wanted to talk about something that I have been reflecting on over the last couple of weeks and just kind of doing my own research on, watching videos, taking polls or opinions from my friends, kind of seeing what's going on in the group chat, just really sitting down and taking time to just get other women's opinions on this world, this society's definition of high value men, how high value men can sometimes be a little overrated, and why I need to change my own definition of what I deem to be high value, what I deem to be a high value man, what that definition means for me, because I do want to have a high value man. However, I noticed that my picker, as my grandmother would say, my picker has been broken because I have been picking men based off of a criteria that is a little bit more superficial or materialistic, or just totally based off of lust and attraction. So as I navigate this dating world, as I get a little bit older and mature and reflect back on the poor decisions I've made, the good decisions I've made, the people that I've looked over that probably deserved a chance, as I kind of just, take this old woman's approach to dating, I'm realizing that maybe I'm not high value man material, and I feel like saying that would downplay any man that I do date or that I do choose to see from this point on, because don't get me wrong, I'm not dating just anybody. I'm not giving just anyone a chance. I'm pretty picky, but I will say that what used to catch my eye, what used to catch my heart, it's changing as I continue to date and I continue to navigate through this dating world, because it is not, I don't want to say it's not easy dating in your mid-30s, especially as a single parent, because I love a good challenge. And I know that whoever I do settle down with in the future is a very lucky man, and whoever I'm sure I'll be a very lucky woman with whoever I choose, because I'm still getting good quality out here. But again, I just have to change my values, excuse me. I just have to change what I deem as high value. So first, we will get into what is Kevin Samuel's definition of high value. I chose Kevin Samuel's definition because his definition is probably more so like my own than any other definition that I have read along the way. Now, I know you guys are probably mentally jumping me right now, because for me to say, oh, I'm not high value man material, or high value men are overrated, you probably think, oh, you just can't get one, or the high value men are not interested in you because you're not conventionally attractive, or whatever you may think. But honestly, I say that to say my definition of high value was, it was getting me, I don't want to use the word hurt, because I'm not hurt. Like, my spirit is good, but I would say that my definition of what a high value man put me in situations where I was valuing what somebody could do for me, or I was valuing potential over a person's character. So that's why I wanted to change my own definition of high value. That is not to say that any man that I date is of low value, or whoever I decide to settle down with in the future, they are a low value guy. No, not at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that status does not equal high value for me, because a man's status does not determine his character. Like the Bible said, for what does a man profit to gain the world and to lose a soul? And there are a lot of people out here that are moving in the world that don't have morals, that don't have good character, but they have a lot of money. It's a lot of cornballs with money too. So that's not to say that I'm dating cornballs, or that anyone I've dated in the past is a cornball. So I don't want anyone to get offended here, but I'm just saying, like, status and money does not equal good character, does not equal a good choice. All right, so we'll get straight into the definition. I've rambled on enough. The first definition or the first criteria number one for what Kevin Samuels stated was a high value man is that he has to be high earning, and high earning was average six figures, so at least $100,000 or around $10,000 a month, depending on the area that the man lives in. Now, don't get me wrong, I myself can make six figures in a year working as a nurse. Six figures nowadays is not that much. But I will say that normally men that make this much money, they have a lot of options. Like Chris Rock said, a man is only as faithful as his options, baby. And so this man has a lot of options. I feel like this takes away, what I'm going to say may take a little bit of power away from women, because women, we do have a lot of power, and I do believe that we need to stand in our power. Don't get me wrong. However, I do feel like when a man has a lot of different women who want him due to him being able to financially support them or do things for them financially that the average man cannot do, he is more inept to cheat. He is more inept to feel like the grass is always greener. He's more inept to feeling like there's always someone else coming along. Now, don't get me wrong, like, men are like buses. This one next 15 one coming. A wise man named Gucci Man once said. However, if a man is constantly able to take women on dates, if a man is constantly able to spend money on women, he himself is probably already thinking that he's a little bit more than he is, not even realizing that he only has all of these options just because he's financially able to do it. It's not based off of his character per se, or who he is as a man. All right, so criteria number 2 ties into criteria number 1. It's just that he consistently maintains success. That means he's had a yearly average of 6 figures for the last 3 to 5 years. That ties into the same reason as reason number 1, just they've had consistent success, not just one high earning year, but 3 to 5 years of high earnings. He also has group acceptance. He is recognized by other high value men. Now, we are basing someone's value, now everybody knows that God gave everyone their own intrinsic, inherent value. Our value should be determined off of how valuable the Lord sees us, or, you know, us living in his will, living in our purpose. Of course, we all know that that is what value should be determined off of, but it's not. We live in the world. We're living in the real world. But if you have a man who is hanging out with other men, or who are respected by other men just off of the fact that he has a lot of money, and the men that they're hanging around, or the men that they the men that they associate themselves with, their heads aren't in the right place. Like, it's either about money or women, and they're respected by this man. It's like, whose character, like, who, let me think about how I'm trying to say this. Why are we basing someone's value off of someone else viewing them as high value because they both have a certain status in the world? And I know this is going to come off very haterish, but this is coming from somebody who, I have dated men who made good money, who didn't have, I've never dated a man with kids. I'm a single parent. My daughter will be 13 in December. And I have never dated a man with kids outside of my daughter's father. He had one child prior to him and I seeing each other, or dating one another. I said seeing each other like it was a one night stand or something. But prior to him, or post him, following him, I have never dated a man with children. I attract men who are pretty good earners, men who do not have kids, men who are pretty well-rounded. We'll just we'll just use well-rounded. They're advocates in the community. They are entrepreneurs. They're doing different things. They're movers and shakers around here. However, their friends that they hang around, yes, they too may be high earners, but none of them have good character. And so if we're basing how valuable this person is off of how these other people who are determined to have the same amount of value as this person, and all of them have very odd ways of thinking, or they don't have good character, what does that say about me wanting a man just because of his status in the community when he's not even a good person? I don't know. I hope I'm making sense here. Like, these videos, I can tend to ramble, and they are a bit uncomfortable because it's not normally the type of content that I deliver. But when I first started this YouTube page, this was the kind of content that I knew I wanted to deliver. So bear with me as I learn to express my thoughts, or get better at expressing my thoughts. But I just hope that made sense. Number four is he has a strong network. He is not a lone wolf. He surrounds himself with people who share a growth mindset. Now, this one I think is probably the best one out of all of them, because I want a man who is ambitious, of course, who has a growth mindset, and that sets his friends have that same standard that he has, that I have, because that's important to me. That is what's valuable to me. So I will have to agree with number 4. It's not really anything that I can say negative with that. Number 5 is visibility. It's a career that people understand and recognize. Okay, so doctors, lawyers, respectable careers. I don't think that should determine someone's value, but I can kind of understand where he's going with that. People don't recognize welders. So then that. People don't recognize welders. People don't recognize people who work in heating and air, and excuse the nails. People don't recognize those who work in heating and air. People don't recognize nurses. People often only recognize careers that require you to go to school for extensive amounts of time, or things that you see in the community that are deemed of high ranking, but people don't recognize police officers. People don't recognize firefighters. People don't recognize EMS workers, but those are all very valuable careers. A plumber can start his own business. Someone who works in heating and air can start their own business. Someone who's a welder can start their own business. And these men make good money, and they will always have a job because they have a vocation. They have a, I don't want to use the word talent. They have a career that is based off of something that will always be a need. As long as there's a road, you're always going to need a welder. As long as there is a toilet, you're always going to need a plumber. As long as there is air conditioning going on in people's homes, heating and air, you're always going to need someone that knows how to fix heating and air. These are jobs that are similar to nursing, but I guess more, nursing, of course, is more, I don't want to say female oriented, but nursing is more of a female profession. It's more female dominant. These careers I would compare to nursing because they are vocations. You do go to school and learn a skill, but they are more male dominant fields, and they are very respectable, but you don't hear very many women saying, yeah, I'm going to get me somebody that works on heating and air and works on freezers, at Food Line. But I know a young man, he went to prison for 4 years, and I brag on him so much. We went to high school together. He's a friend of mine. He went to prison for 4 years, got out, went to vocational school, learned how to work on like freezers and refrigerators and stuff like that. Got a job traveling. He travels to different food lines, working on the refrigerators. And this man, when I say he's doing better than me, he is doing better than me because he naturally is a high achiever. He naturally wanted more for himself. And I'm not telling anybody to go out here and date someone that they feel like is broke or poor. But what I am saying is that he doesn't have to be a doctor. He doesn't have to be a lawyer. He doesn't have to work in corporate America. Like, there are people out here getting money that are not your typical run-of-the-mill professions that you think of that make a lot of money, baby. So I'm just going to go there with the visibility. That's how I feel about that. And the last criteria on Kevin Samuel's list, number 6, was utility. He helps other people out, whether that's family, friends, or company. And I love that. I love a man who has a great relationship with his mom, takes care of his mom, takes care of his family, because in the Bible it says that a man is to provide for his family, not for the girl he met yesterday, not for the woman that he's trying to sleep with, but for his family. And if he does that for his family, then he will take care of you and your family. So I don't see anything wrong with that. But whenever you have people that are doing things for other people because they want praise or they want a pat on the back, then it becomes a problem. But I don't see anything. I do believe that will make someone high value. So now that we have Kevin Samuel's definition of high value, I'm going to tell you what I deem as high value right now at my age. Now, take this with a grain of salt. I'm 35. I'm single. I have never been married, and I have been through a thing or two. And this is what me personally, where I am in my life, what I feel to make a man high value. So, of course, we're going to go ahead and just start with finances. We're going to start with finances. He does not necessarily have to be the highest earner for me to deem him high value, because I know men who make a lot of money and they blow it on women. I know men who make a lot of money, but they blow it on cars, TVs, video games, to the point to where they're complaining about how much money they're wasting. But I also know men who don't make a lot of money, so since they don't make a lot of money, they value their money and they spend their money wisely. So when it comes to finances, my definition of high value is not necessarily the highest earner. Don't get me wrong. Majority of the men that I date make 6 figures. Don't ask me how. I guess it's because I attract people who are like myself. So I'm averaging about 95, 100, maybe a little bit over 100 whenever you factor in like my part-time stuff like that. So I don't know if it's maybe the places that I go or it just, who I am, because I do attract men at work too. That might be why I attract men who are high earners. But I also attract men who are not high earners. And the ones that are not high earners tend to have more money. This is so crazy. I'm not gonna say they tend to have more money, but they tend to not be as frugal with their money, because for one, they're not worried about people dating them just for their money, because they ain't got none. So when they do spend their money on you, you know that, okay, it's not because this is just what you do to get in my pants, and then they might still be doing it to get in my pants, but it's not, it's more value. It's more valuable. If you have a man who is doing things for you and he's not doing these things for other women because he can't do it 3 and 4 times a night for 3 and 4 other women, it just seems more valuable to me. And these men, since they work a budget, they tend to be a little bit more financially responsible. And so the whole picture of why finances is on the list for me is not necessarily because, like I said, it's not necessarily how much he makes, but how good is he with his money? Are you financially responsible? Number 2 on my list is, does he make time for me? Most high value men are very busy, because in order to be a high achiever, you have to be continuously knocking out goals or continuously working. Being an entrepreneur is a long day. You know what I mean? You have to work all day or you have to work all night, because that business is depending on you. So you're dating these high value or high earning men. But in order to earn that money, they don't have any time. They don't have any time for you. So does that man value his time, and does he make time for me? To me, that would make a man more valuable to me than how much he earns or how well respected he is in the community. Of course, number 3 is going to be, and number 3 is actually number 1, but number 3, as I was writing out my points, just came at number 3. But number 3 is actually very valuable. It's this man's character. Is this man honest? Is he genuine when he is buying you gifts, or whenever he's doing things? Are these genuine gestures? Does he respect his mom? Does he respect his family? Just character. Does he have good character? Next on my list would be, does this man have a plan? Now, I said he ain't got to have a lot of money right now, but I know where I want to go in life, and I know what goals I'm working towards, and I know that I can either be an ambitious woman or I can be an encouraging woman. I can actually be both, but I don't have to be both. I don't have to. Now, I would love to go to CRNA school. I would love to become an actress. I have a lot of ambition, and when I put my mind to a goal, I normally accomplish it. That's just the type of person that I am. But I'm at a place in my life where I don't necessarily have to accomplish all my goals, or I don't have to do it right now. And so when I say, does this man have a plan? Can I put a battery in your back and you get us to where we both want to go? Can I be that encouraging, nurturing woman who raises the kids and puts majority of her time into building a family and being that mothering role, while you go out and you live up to your dreams and your goals, and I help you do that. And I'm only saying that because I'm at a place in my life now where I ain't gonna say I've seen everything, but in the grand scheme of things, what's important to me is family. What's important to me is raising children. I want more children. And when I have my next child, or when I have more children, I want to be the type of mom that's able to be there and be very active. I'm an active mom now. I'm a present parent now, but I want to be active to the point to where I'm not necessarily really too worried about myself anymore. I know that might sound bad, but and I'm not saying I'm throwing my life away for anybody else, but does this man's plan align with my plan and what I want for myself? That's really all I'm trying to get to. Does his ambition, is it enough to lead the family? Is it enough to where you can allow me to be your helpmate and we go to where we're trying to go? That will make you high value in my eyes. our plans aligning, us being on the same page, that is very high value to me. The next one kind of ties in. I guess they're all kind of tied together. I've already spoken on character, but the next one I would say is his mentality. I guess I wanted to really hone in on this because a lot of the men that I have ran into, it's like your mentality, the way that you think, your morals, your character, that is what's going to raise these children that I want. Are you going to teach my daughter what I want her to learn from a man? Are you going to teach my son or sons, because I would love to have more than one, how to be a good man? There are men out here that are teaching other young men how to be terrible men because they don't have a good mentality. And so someone, in order to be high value to me, they just have to have the right mentality. You don't have to be the most educated. You don't have to be the smartest man in the room, but are you intelligent? Are you emotionally intelligent? Are you able to get along with people from all walks of life? Like, what is your mentality like? Do you see yourself above other people? Do you see yourself below other people? Your mentality, for me, is part of the criteria on whether or not you are a high value man. And honestly, y'all, I hate to cut it off right there, but I feel like I've really hit on the things that are important to me. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not fooling with nobody that I'm not attracted to. If I'm not attracted to you, you might get a date or two out of me, because sometimes those not unattractive men be funny. And if you are funny, it's the key to my heart. Like, I love to laugh. I really do. So if you're funny, you get a pass, for me. But don't get me wrong. I'm not out here dating anybody I'm not attracted to. I feel like every man I have dated is attractive. When I go and I look at the Instagrams of the men in my past, I'm like, damn, he look good. He is fine. Like, and I feel like I thought that before I even started dating them. Like, so I'm not out here dating anybody broke. I'm not out here dating anyone unattractive, but I'm not putting a lot of value in things that don't matter anymore. My criteria of what a high value man is different than the world's, a lot of the world's. And I think that that's just where I am in life, because I have dated all sorts of men, not outside of my race. I haven't gone that far yet, but I've dated all sorts of men. Short, tall, rich, light skin, poor, dark skin, like all kinds of men. And with where I am, I just want to be treated right. And all right, so the camera is doing its own thing again. As you can see, the sun is actually starting to go down. So from what I was just trying to say before I was rudely interrupted by my camera was my definition of high value. I just had to change it. I know there might be people that may say, oh, that's because you're 35 and you still haven't been married. It might be people's opinions about why I'm changing my definition are neither here nor there. Not even sure why I brought that up, but this is where I am in life. At 35, at still hoping I have more children, in dating different types of men, I have just realized what type of character traits that I would like and what I would deem as high value now that I've been through a few of the things that I've been through. This is advice that I would give to young ladies. These are things that I would want young women to know that are a lot more important than status and money. So that's it. If you guys haven't already, liked the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell notification to make sure that you get notified whenever I post a new video. I ask that you please go ahead and do that. Again, my name is Lenise, and I'm going to go ahead and head out. So I'll holler at y'all later.